Hey, what is going on, freedom fighters? Welcome back to another Break the Chains Media. Today is November 26th, 2025. The Thanksgiving Eve, as it were, Wednesday. We are sitting here. We are going over the news. I wasn't technically really planning on doing a real live stream today, but in light of recent events that broke out and happened today, I threw on the headphones. I got the thing going, and we're going. We're in it. We're doing it now. Because tragically, we have to report on 2 National Guardsmen being shot in Washington, D.C. So we got to break all that down. Absolutely tragic. Apparently, as it currently stands right now, as far as I'm aware, they both have lost their lives. And we are thinking, and that there are reports that they may have found the suspect, or the suspect's in custody. So we're going to talk about all that. I've got some articles pulled up from the AP and from a couple other articles that we're going to go over regarding the National Guardsmen being shot. Absolutely tragic. And it shows, sadly, on the heels of, it's really bad optics for the Democrats. The fact that it's on the heels of these Democrats coming out and telling military uniformed soldiers to defy orders, and then we see this kind of play out, and we're going to get into all of that and my thoughts on everything with that. And then we are also going to talk about Tina Peters, because Tina Peters is it's a very serious story, not only to the Colorado narrative, but nationally. Excuse me. Tickle in my throat. It's always a tickle in my throat as soon as I want to start saying anything good. But yes, Tina Peters is a national story as well as a Colorado story. And right now, the Bureau of Prisons, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, would like to submit. They submitted a request to get Tina Peters out of state penitentiary here in Colorado, and have since been denied. And we're going to read into that. And right before I went live, and one of the reasons why I was a few minutes late was I retweeted one of Kyle Clark's posts and his report regarding Tina Peters and the whole prison fiasco. He ends up commenting on my post, and then I call him a turkey head. So Kyle Clark, if you decided to tune into my live stream right now, I appreciate that, and he wished me a happy Thanksgiving. So I wish him a happy Thanksgiving, even though he is still a partisan leftist propagandist arm of the mainstream media. So, and I called him that, said it to him, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? Thanks for sharing my post." This guy is a joke. But we are going to get into all that here today on Break the Chains Media. We are Change Wednesday. That is what we're doing. That is how we do it here on Wednesdays at Break the Chains Media. This is the first time hanging out with me at Break the Chains Media, and I don't know if I could say it one more time, but this is Break the Chains Media. Holy shit! I'm just kidding, guys. First time hanging out. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that share button. Be a part of the Chain Gang. Welcome to the community, and share this video with all your friends and family, and just let us know. Let me know what you think in the live chat. Let me, get a little active in that live chat over there so we can have conversations about the topics I bring up. And that's kind of the fun thing about being in Break the Chains Media is we can have actual conversations in real time. I'm not a big enough channel yet to be only limited to super chats and premium memberships. I just want you to get the information. So thank you for hanging out here on Break the Chains Media. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Rumble, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. Find me everywhere. Facebook, for all the boomers. If you're a boomer, you can find me on Facebook too. And if you can't figure any of that out, you can always go to breakthechains.media. That is the website. That is the landing page. Come over here to Realm Walker Hot Sauce. Pick up a bottle of Realm Walker Hot Sauce. Handmade, homegrown. Part of my hobbies. I enjoy making it. And I enjoy people that support my hobby. So travel the 9 realms of Norse mythology through hot sauce. Each flavor is named after one of the 9 realms of Norse mythology. You've got mild to extreme heat. I've got 4 different gallons batched and on the works right now, ready to go for Christmas. So reach out to Realm Walker Hot Sauce on Instagram, or reach out to me and we'll get you a bottle of Realm Walker Hot Sauce. And then we also have the chainsaw topic. Rev up them chainsaws. Rev them up. Rev them up. The because Chainsaw Caucus is cutting through the government bloat, bureaucracy, and corruption, fiscal irresponsibility, making sure our politicians are held to account when it comes to using our money effectively and actually representing the message of liberty. Inspired by the Afuera movement from Javier Milei in Argentina, Chainsaw Caucus brings it to the people and supports politicians nationwide. The link is in the pinned description below the live stream if you want to support Chainsaw Caucus. It is $10 a month, suggested donations. You can do any donation, but I suggest 10. That helps out me, that helps out them, and it's a great time. But we are gonna get right into it, folks. So kind of crazy, kind of wild. This is the Kyle Clark post regarding Tina Peters. It is pretty funny. We will get into that in just a minute, but I wanted to actually go directly to what is happening with the National Guard situation happening in DC right now, and I just typed it in on X. I've got a couple different articles here. This is from NBC News, live updates: shooting of 2 National Guard members to be investigated as possible acts of terrorism. You don't say it's a possible act of terrorism. I mean, at this rate, I think anything that is directed towards uniformed officers of any kind, whether it's police, whether it's National Guard, whether it's ICE, whether it's anyone. I mean, we are in such uncharted territory as far as a civil strife, as it were. But let's take a listen to this video here.
To want to send my thoughts and prayers to the families of the Guardsmen and to the Guardsmen who are in critical condition in a local hospital. I am.
Oh, hold on.
Joined by members and leadership from the DC National Guard, from the West Virginia National Guard, United States Secret Service, Deputy Mayor Pia, Fire Chief Donnelly, and Metro's General Manager Randy Clark. And we join with the FBI Director in ensuring that MPD investigates, the U.S. Attorney prosecutes this case to the fullest extent of the law. I've had the opportunity to brief U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was speaking to the president when I called, as well as the United States Attorney Pirro, who assured me that this case will have her office's complete attention.
Mayor, was there any other suspect?
Chief.
Sure. So no, at this time, there was no indication that there was any other suspect. The one suspect that was involved in this incident, they were shot during the interaction, and they were transported to the hospital for treatment.
Okay.
Mayor, does this validate the need for the National Guard here in D.C.?
Does it validate the need for National
is
Guard?
that this is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these Guardsmen, that individual has been taken into custody.
Terror in the heart of Washington, D.C., just 2 blocks from the White House.
This is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these Guardsmen.
Video capture the moments police and National Guard troops subdued a suspect while a few feet away performing CPR on someone who's down.
Suspect came around the corner. He immediately started firing a firearm at the 2 National Guard members.
2 National
Hold on.
Guard troops shot. NBC Washington reports one is a male guardsman, the other a female, both from West Virginia in critical condition.
There were other National Guard members that were in the area. They heard
Hold
the
on.
gunfire. They actually were able to intervene and to kind of hold down the suspect after he had been shot on the ground until law enforcement got there within moments.
West Virginia's governor posting, "Our prayers are with the brave service members, their families, and the entire Guard community." NBC's Andrea Mitchell was nearby.
I was about half a block away, heard sirens. People were running in the opposite direction. I came
What is going on with this fucking...
over, talked to a woman. She said she was in an Uber, heard 2 loud booms. claims she
Thank
did
you,
not
Melinda.
see
I'm
the
pulling it
alleged
up
shooter
now.
or the incident itself, but all of a sudden, police, Secret Service started congregating right at this corner.
Definitely heard two boom booms. I saw the children running. I saw the adults running.
President Trump not in the White House, but in Mar-a-Lago for Thanksgiving, writing on Truth Social, the animal that shot the two National Guardsmen, with both being critically wounded and now in separate hospitals, is also severely wounded, but regardless, will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. It was last May when President Trump ordered National Guard troops into D.C. to assist police in bringing down violent crime. Yesterday, he credited the troops with helping to do just that.
And you could walk down any street in Washington and you're going to be just fine. And I want to thank the National Guard.
Today's deadly incident follows a series of attacks against federal law enforcement. In July, 10 suspects in tactical gear attacked an ICE facility, wounding a local police officer in Alvarado, Texas. Days later, a suspect opened fire on Border Patrol agents in McAllen, Texas.
Remember during the 4th of July.
And in September, a sniper on a roof in Dallas opened fire on a van at an ICE facility. The suspect had inscribed anti-ICE on his ammunition.
This is
Two
the shit.
Undocumented immigrants killed.
Tom is with us live again from that very active scene. Tom, have we learned anything else about what prompted this attack?
Yeah, that's a high priority for both D.C. police and the FBI, who are coordinating on this investigation. But they are moving more assets in as we speak into this park in the heart of D.C. They will likely be here all through the night. Hallie?
So I hear you, Melinda. I appreciate that. No, what I wanted to do, I just wanted to get a basic rundown of the situation before I just start spiraling into my my conspiracy theories and my own opinions. But no, it's an absolute shame that these guardsmen, day before Thanksgiving, obviously this is, this appears to be a coordinated, intentional attack at uniformed National Guardsmen. Now, as it reports on X, this is from Cam Higbee now, as of 41 minutes ago, from Cam Higbee. National Guard shooter has been identified as Ramandullah Lakanawal from Afghanistan, allegedly. This is all on the wire right now. So we are working with just open reports at the moment. But he entered the U.S. under Biden's open border, allegedly. Some unverified reports indicate he yelled the key phrase that we hear all the time from these religion of peace pulpiters, right? As he carried out the attack. The same phrase could be heard chanted in Dearborn a week ago. Well, now we're last week. Yeah, so he's trying to, and this is all just initial reports. Can't confirm any of this, right? Yeah, we got some other ones here. National Guard members deployed must be allowed to carry fully loaded weapons. You might as well paint a target on them. If this was a targeted attack, we must change the rules of engagement. Everyone must be deputized as U.S. Marshals and therefore be allowed to carry loaded weapons and authorized to use deadly force. Do you think that is what's going to happen? Do we think that is going to, we're going to see that movement come forward, come out of this aftermath? Are we going to see another further escalation? This is how it operates, right? Sadly, this is how it escalates. One attack after another, and then you get the totalitarian tiptoe, as many of the conspiracy theorists for many years have been saying, right? And I'm not saying it's not justified. I think this is extremely justified. A larger pressure of measure and a pressure of force if we're going to see some insurgency like this. This is absolutely despicable. This is unacceptable. We should not be living in a world like this. But unfortunately, this is the world we're living in, folks. It's pretty devastating, to say the least. Let's see here. Breaking: Afghan National Guard alleged shooter Ramandullah Lakawanal is an illegal migrant let in under the Biden and Mayorkas Open Allies Welcome per Fox. So let's see if we can confirm that through Fox. He was allowed to come with a visa and overstayed it. And they're gonna the right wing is gonna easily use this as another talking point. And we can't. It's so tough because I don't want to be like. It's such a shame when we're sitting here doing coffin surfing, right? And like these people, they just were shot and killed today, and people are already coming out and talking about, you know, the response as it was an illegal immigrant. Dude, I get it, and I hear it 100 times, 1,000 times. We know that there's an illegal immigrant problem, right? Yeah. Yes, I was gonna touch on that too, Melindy. The Georgia prosecutor. Yeah. But let's actually look up let's see the article that you gave us from Just the News. 2 West Virginia National Guard members who were shot near the White House on Wednesday were in critical condition. Metro Police said out of D.C. Suspect was arrested and believed to be an Afghan national. So it does look like that alleged report is what we're to be confirmed as an Afghan national. That 37-letter name, I can't even, Ramanullah Habarskuba, whatever, right? But that little scumbag, evil motherfucker, piece of trash. The West Virginia Republican Governor Patrick Morrisey previously stated on X that the 2 guardsmen were killed in the shooting, which took place at 2:15 Eastern, before walking back to the post because of conflicting information. So are they killed or are they not? Because I thought the initial reports was that they were not killed, but I heard otherwise. Let's see. So he walked back the post because of conflicting information. Let's take a look. We are now receiving conflicting reports about condition of 2 guardsmen and will be providing additional updates once we receive them for more complete information. Okay, let's take a look. Did they pass away?
West Virginia National Guard. Earlier today, 2 West Virginia National Guardsmen were brazenly shot
both in
Washington,
critical condition.
DC. This was an act of unspeakable violence. Our hearts,
weren't they shot
our thoughts,
in the head?
our prayers go out to the brave service members, their families, and the units who are enduring this terrible tragedy.
Fucking Curry.
We're going to work hard with West Virginia. I know the state stands behind the Guard. I know the president, who I just spoke to, stands behind these courageous service members and our state to get through this really difficult time. But just know, we're going to keep working to make sure that justice is served.
Oh, that was
earlier today.
That was a weird place to cut. That was a weird place to cut it. Okay, yes. So they are in critical condition. Hopefully they can actually recover. But from my reports and what I gathered, I thought that they were both shot in the head, which is not a good sign. But prayers to them, and hopefully they get a speedy recovery. This is a heinous act of violence, and this only perpetuates the conversation, the larger conversation at hand, right? This whole looming civil strife, this whole looming civil conflict, this whole division between the Democrats calling Trump's unlawful orders and resisting unlawful orders, and Trump being a fascist, Trump being an extremist, authoritarian, and then you have response. And you have people that listen to enough of this propaganda that they think that they're going to be doing, you know, an act of heroism by doing something so evil as this. But if the reports are the fact that this person is an Afghan national, he's got a whole nother motive other than he would have a whole nother motive behind his attack than just listening to some Democrat talking heads, right? So this is all happening in real time. Let's what's this video? So that's not too loud. So that's like as it happened. He's laying on the ground right there. Absolutely heartbreaking. Fuck. Jesus. Sorry, everyone. Viewer discretion is advised. Man. Yeah, so... And everyone's saying, like, stop politicizing the tragedy. They were protecting D.C. and trying to make the nation's capital safer. People like you. Yeah, so Jane Mayer sounds like she's a little lefty over here. This is so tragic, so unnecessary. These poor guardsmen should have never been deployed. I live in D.C. and watched as they had virtually nothing to do but pick up trash. It was a political show and what cost? Yeah. So we got people on both sides of the political spectrum politicizing this already, but let's be honest, folks. Let's be real. Oh, I don't want to see that. No. Yeah, that was the shooter laying on a stretcher. I'd rather not see that. The little scumbag. But let's take a look at the AP here. This is let's see if there's any new updates from the AP. Updated just a few minutes ago. Let's see. Follow live updates on the shooter National Guard. We can check on here. Check this. The rare shooting of National Guard members comes to the presence of the troops in the national capital and other cities around the country has been a flashpoint issue for months, fueling court fights and broader public policy debate about the Trump administration's use of the military to combat what officials cast as an out-of-control crime problem. Do you see how they're doing this? Do you see how they're shifting this into all of this could have been avoided. This all could have been avoided if Trump wasn't so authoritarian. Do you see how they're doing this? No. Absolutely sick. No one has, there's no reason to ever just go out and willy-nilly. I mean, this is, the sad thing is this isn't the first shooting that's happened, right? How many other shootings this year? Politically motivated shootings, assassinations, attempts. Who's it always been, right? Who has it always been? Two National Guard members were shot in an ambush attack just blocks away from the White House Capitol. This is not the first time that we have had to speak about tragedy and shootings in this year. I mean, it's insane. The fact that all of these attacks, what side of the political spectrum, what side of the political ideology are these attacks being cast out from? I mean, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chats. But, folks, this is... What side is the side of violence? What side is the side that decides to use violence as the solution? Shooting at... We had 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump. We had a successful assassination attempt on Charlie Kirk. We had multiple ICE shootings at ICE vehicles and ICE facilities. We also had the shooting of the FBI in Dallas. This is beyond the pale. This is way beyond normal. I mean, this is unheard of, folks. And the left will continue to point the finger at Trump. The left will continue to push the narrative that Trump is the one fomenting violence. What kind of dystopian, upside-down clown world is this? Like, utter insanity. Absolutely incredible. Makes me so sick that we have to have conversations like this. Okay? This is the live feed from earlier. I'm not going to click on it again, but, folks, just, you know, I don't want to be it's obviously a tragedy right before a holiday, right before Thanksgiving. And I really hope that these 2 guardsmen recover, but it's going to be a long road to recovery if they were in fact shot in the head. But I don't know. That's just what initial reports were. But obviously some of the initial reports weren't accurate or getting misconstrued. Yeah. Afghan national who entered in 2021. He's been living in Washington State. So he drove across the country to carry out this attack. This evil goat fucker piece of shit. And I'll say that. Probably get in trouble too. Sorry, but seriously, folks, this is not acceptable. The fact that this person remained in our country for years, only to carry out a heinous crime like this. The people could not discuss details of an ongoing investigation, spoke to AP condition of anonymity. Okay? Incredible, man. So, live updates. It's on the ground. It's breaking right now. I'm just going to zip right past that. Let's see. Yeah, that was just J.D. Vance.
Apparently there was a shooting outside the White House just a couple of hours ago. And
Incredible.
we're still learning everything. We still don't know the motive. There's a lot that we haven't yet figured out. But what we do know is that a couple of National Guardsmen were injured in the line of duty. And first of all, I want everybody who's a person of faith to say a prayer for those two National Guardsmen that they're able to spend Thanksgiving with their families instead of losing their lives, because I understand they're still in pretty tough condition. But I think it's a somber reminder that soldiers, whether they're active duty, reserve, or National Guard, our soldiers are the sword and the shield of the United States of America. And as a person who goes into work every single day in that building and knows that there are a lot of people who wear the uniform of the United States Army, let me just say very personally, thank them for what they're doing. We're grateful to them, and we're praying that they're going to be safe and they're going to spend Thanksgiving with their families. God bless them.
Wow.
Apparently there was a shooting outside
the fact that J.D. Vance J.D. Vance can speak very well off the cuff, and good words of encouragement for the armed servicemen and women. But this shouldn't go on like this, folks. We are way beyond anything. I'm having a hard time putting it to words, just because it's so fresh, so new, and the fact that this isn't unfamiliar territory anymore. It used to be something that we would have to, once in a while have a tragedy, have a moment of silence. Very rarely, and you watch, they're gonna come out, they're gonna say, they're gonna, and it's so funny because they're going to talk about the guns. They're always going to talk about a gun, right? They're always going to bring up some sort of gun control. DC, this is an unprovoked attack. An unprovoked attack against National Guardsmen. This is a domestic terrorist, and everything and anything needs to be done to throw him away, or just, check him out. You know what I mean? Let's expedite the process, because this is disgusting. So, with that, I don't really know what else to go with that. We are going to wrap up with that angle. If anything new comes up, obviously we'll bring up the new information. But I did want to shift gears here into the Tina Peters, information coming out of Colorado, and addressing Kyle Clark and Kyle Clark's report on Tina Peters. And I know on Monday I had a very extensive conversation on Tina Peters and everything going on with her. And right now, Tina Peters is in a Colorado prison down south in Pueblo, and she has been living with not so ideal circumstances, not so ideal living situations. She was placed in solitary confinement for a few days due to an investigation that they were having regards to the other inmates in the prison that were attacking or accosting her. So they had to do an internal investigation. So she was put in solitary confinement for that time frame, and then she has since been released out of solitary confinement. But the fact of the matter is that Tina Peters has not been getting the best of treatments in this prison down south in Pueblo. It's a state penitentiary, and she is there to be serving a 9-year sentence. Absolutely insane for a 70-year-old woman who does not have a criminal record. And compared to the other types of criminals that Jared Polis has commuted their sentences of, or the legislation that leftist liberal Democrats here in Colorado have enacted in Colorado, we have legislation that allows for criminals and sex offenders and rapists and murderers to go free, to be released back into public. These criminals get released back into public after days or short sentences. Jared Polis even commuted a sentence of someone who was supposed to spend a decade or more in prison. Jared Polis commuted his sentence to only 5 years. But Jared Polis doesn't want to touch Tina Peters. And the fact that there is now a Federal Bureau of Prisons request to extract Tina Peters, a formal submission. Let me pull it up. There is a formal submission. This here is a formal submission from the Federal Bureau of Prisons to request extraction of Tina Peters into federal custody. It was given to the Colorado prison system, and as it stands currently, the Colorado prison system has denied the Bureau of Prisons' request to extract Tina Peters. It reads as follows. This is from the Federal U.S. Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Prisons. This letter is from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Dear Director Stansel, the Federal Bureau of Prisons respectfully submits this request to initiate the transfer of a state inmate from the Colorado Department of Corrections to a federal custody for the purpose of serving a state-imposed sentence within a federal correction institution. And the second half of this entire thing has been redacted. And it's been redacted because they deemed it for the best interest of public safety and security. Or they deemed it for like public interest. They said, the Colorado Department of Corrections said they redacted this part of the letter for public security and public safety, whatever the case may be. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I wonder what it says in that second part of the letter there. You know, very interesting. We will actually now watch Kyle Clark's report. Kyle Clark's reporting. And this is me responding. Amazing. So I wrote, Kyle Clark is a partisan media propagandist, retweeting his post. Tina Peters' attorney is backing the idea of President Trump using military raid to free her from a prison in Colorado. I mean, yeah, I agree totally, Melindy. We'll get into that here in just a sec. Kyle Clark reports, Tina Peters' attorney is backing the idea of President Trump using a military raid to free her from a prison in Colorado. Meanwhile, a bipartisan group of Colorado County clerks say Governor Polis is betraying the election workers with his silence on whether he'll free Tina. Wow. That's a whole spin cycle. Talk about spinning the news there, Kyle Clark. The fact that the bipartisan group of county clerks in Colorado, they don't want these county clerks do not want Tina Peters released into federal custody. Why? Because Tina Peters was a federal witness in the election interference of the 2020 election. She has information and she saw how the system was broke down during that election cycle. And these other county clerks know, and they've known for a long time. This is my opinion. My opinion is these county clerks have known that Colorado elections have vulnerabilities. They have weaknesses. These gold standard of election integrity in Colorado, the gold standard of election process, as per Jenna Griswold, these county clerks know that Colorado elections are vulnerable and can be compromised. Universal mail-in ballots in the state of Colorado, election machines everywhere, weeks to do early and open voting. The chain of custody is so weak in Colorado, and these election officials, these county clerks, know that there is something that Tina knows. And they're going to say, oh no, it undermines our election integrity. It undermines our election process. Bullshit. They're covering for themselves. They're covering for the entire election apparatus here in Colorado that's been interfering and obscuring the free and fair elections, the real free and fair elections that American people demand, that Colorado residents deserve. Right? Let's take a listen.
Peters' attorney is calling for President Trump to use the military to free Peters from a prison in Colorado. This comes as a bipartisan group of election clerks in Colorado says Democratic Governor Jared Polis's indecision on whether to give in to Trump on this issue and free the former election clerk convicted of breaching election security is an insult to election workers and voters.
Are you saying that you believe the president should call out the 101st Airborne? They should go to her prison in Colorado and say, hey, boys, the pros from Dover are here. Back off. We're taking Tina Peters, and we're going to take her today.
Do I think that it should be done? For who I am, yeah, I'd love to see that happen.
Tina Peters' attorney endorsing a military raid to free her from prison in Colorado follows escalating rhetoric on the far right.
And frankly, I think violence is probably the only solution at this point.
This week, MAGA podcaster Joe Oltmann from Douglas County called for the execution of Colorado Governor Jared Polis and others.
I think all these people should be tried for treason and hung. I think Jared Polis should be hung. I think Jenna Griswold should be hung. I think Phil Weiser should be hung. I think they should hang by their neck until dead.
Oltmann is influential with Colorado Republican leaders and is a close ally of Peters.
Tina Peters should be out of prison right now. She should not have to serve another day there. And you know what it's going to take? I think it's going to take somebody doing something very drastic, a group of people doing something drastic to let them know that they don't have any peace.
Governor Polis has been silent in response to our questions about whether he'll turn Peters over to her friends in the Trump administration, 1 year into her 9-year sentence for tampering with election systems.
His silence is deafening, and it's also offensive. It's deeply offensive to county clerks. It's deeply offensive to the Republicans and Democrats who serve as election judges and actually implement these elections.
Molly Fitzpatrick is the Democratic clerk in Polis's Boulder County. Haley Johnson is the Republican clerk from Jackson County, who tearfully pleaded with Polis to keep Peters in prison.
If you transfer Tina Peters to federal custody, you are making a statement that elected officials are above the law.
Stop.
This is a very dangerous precedent. I urge you, Governor Polis.
Stop it.
Stand with Colorado County clerks.
No.
Late this afternoon, the governor's office told us he would meet with those election clerks. Today, the State Department of Corrections fulfilled our open records request to see the Fed's letter asking to take custody of Tina Peters. Much of that letter was redacted. It was blacked out.
Interesting. I showed you that earlier.
It was not in the public interest for you to see it.
It was not in the public interest for you to see it. Remember that, folks. It wasn't in the public's interest for you to see the second half of the letter that was sent from the Federal Bureau of Prisons to the Colorado Correction Facilities, right? It wasn't in your best interest. Yep. No, Melindy, I do agree with you that Oltmann's comments were a little heavy-handed, to say it lightly. Yeah, Joel Oltmann was going pretty hard there. I would have to say, while I understand his frustration, the rhetoric needs to be a little bit more concise and targeted as far as what actually should be done. These people are evil. These Democrat officials like Polis, like Griswold and Weiser, all of these people are coordinating corruption together. And we have to prove that legally and lawfully prove that to the public, prove that through a court of law, to show that these people, the government establishment that has been entrenching themselves here in Colorado for the better part of 15 years, the Democrat apparatus, the coordinated leftist enclave here in Colorado, has orchestrated their control. And the way they do that is through election process. Jenna Griswold, Phil Weiser, Governor Polis. Governor Polis was part of the Gang of Four, folks. He was one of the main reasons how Colorado drastically shifted into this leftist hellhole that it is today. And what we need to do is gather the receipts, gather the intel, get all of the evidence. Some is with Tina Peters right now, what Tina Peters knows right now, and that is why the Federal Bureau of Prisons needs to put her in their protective custody. They need to be the ones keeping Peter safe. Because if they're not keeping Peter safe, Colorado Department of Corrections and the Colorado apparatus here are going to let her rot. And that's a sad truth. That's a sad truth. Look at Kyle Clark's got a lot of fucking likes on my post. Oh my gosh. These comments are great. Sorry. I gotta laugh a little bit, right? You misspelled piece of shit. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna get a lot of leftist trolls on this post. You watch. Marshals are the only answer, Melindy. I do think that's correct. U.S. Marshals need to come in and extract Tina Peters and put her under federal protection. That is really what needs to happen. I got a couple articles saying Colorado doesn't plan to transfer imprisoned former county clerk to federal custody. Tina Peters is a political prisoner, and I'm not, folks, I'm being very honest. I'm being very sincere. I'm not saying what she did wasn't illegal, right? She did tamper with election equipment. The reason that Tina Peters had to tamper with election equipment was because Jenna Griswold wanted to wipe the hard drives and wipe the data off of these election equipments. That was against federal law. So who's really the one that we should be targeting the law at? Who's really the one that we should be focusing on prosecution, right? If Jenna Griswold told someone to do something that was illegal and Tina Peters said, no, I'm going to uphold my end of my responsibility. I'm going to uphold my responsibility and do my job as a federal election official in Colorado, and I'm going to retain that data. So Tina Peters did go around the word of the Secretary of State and tampered with election equipment. But does she deserve 9 years in prison? Does she deserve 9 years in prison for what she did? When Jared Polis has commuted less, has commuted worse crimes for less, right? He should have said the charges should be brought up, or he should have said the charges should be brought, and if they're found guilty, he should be hung. Yes, charges should be dropped. Or, sorry, charges should be brought, and if they're found guilty, yes, I see where you're going with that, Stowe. And that really is, because that's where he was trying to go. That's where Oltmann was trying to go, right? Joel Oltmann was trying to essentially say that these people are treasonous. He did say that these people are treasonous, but he skipped out the main part that actually makes it rather lawful to say, right? If found guilty, charges should be brought. If found guilty, they should suffer the consequence, correct? And I mean that's there's a lot of people in Colorado that feel that sentiment. Not to that violent degree. We should not be calling for violence. We should not be calling for, taking action into our own hands. That's not what we're saying here. We don't say that. We don't talk like that on this channel, right? Gandalf, what do you got to say to Joe Oltmann?
You shall
right? Gandalf, sometimes you just say you come in at the right time. You just make sure everyone understands that there is a time and a place for everything, but violence is not the answer, especially in this hot political climate. The fact that we are dealing with, a domestic terrorist attack in D.C. We've dealt with assassinations and shooting of law enforcement and armed uniformed officers of the law. We don't want to have any more incitement to violence here online and here across the country, right? No incitements to violence. But let's take a look here. Colorado doesn't plan to transfer the state prison federal custody. Colorado doesn't plan to transfer from state prison to federal custody a former county clerk who's become a hero to election conspiracy theorists following a request from the Trump administration, state officials said Wednesday. The Colorado Department of Corrections said it's not seeking transfer of Tina Peters, who was convicted last year of orchestrating a scheme in Mesa County to breach voting machine data driven by false claims of fraud. That is incorrect, AP. Incorrect. AP, get your fucking facts straight. AP, get your story straight. Well, I can't blame them because they are partisan half the time, right? Saying that it was orchestrating a scheme in Mesa County to breach voting machine data is incorrect. She was preserving the data that Jenna Griswold wanted destroyed. And she did. She did preserve some of it. And the people that worked with her, Conan Hayes and others, I have questions for these people. Because why is Conan Hayes? Here's a real question that no one asks, no one fails to answer. Excuse me. I stumble over my words all the time. You know this, folks. Here's a question that no one seems to have an answer to is, who is Conan Hayes? Who is Conan Hayes? Conan Hayes, to my knowledge, to my understanding, Conan Hayes was the person in which was brought in by Tina to extract the data and to actually use the impersonating information. He was the one who did the work. He was the one who used a false identifying. They got her on a charge of impersonating election official. They got her on a charge of impersonation, an impersonation charge, right? They got Tina Peters on an impersonation charge, but Conan Hayes was the one that was technically impersonating someone when he went into the system to extract the data. Okay? So the real question is who is Conan Hayes and why is he walking free, but Tina Peters gets 9 years in prison? That's the real question, folks. And there's a whole nother angle to this election conspiracy that goes on because it's not just Tina Peters, but there's a whole network of people that worked around Tina that honestly I think drove the jury and the judge and railroaded this entire court case into the ground, and they all kind of manufactured this at Tina, and they put Tina Peters in this position, and they threw the book at her, and they railroaded her, and they made her the example. They made Tina Peters the example of what you do, what happens. Tina Peters is the example of what happens when you question election integrity, when you question the election results. If you don't think the elections were honest and true, this is what happens to you. And that's essentially what they were trying to do with Tina. But I do believe that Tina Peters should be free. Tina Peters should be taken into federal custody as a under federal protection. Tina Peters is witness to federal election crime and must be taken into federal witness protection. That is what I believe. And that's what I'm going to stand by. That is this. So yeah, this is the other report. Do we want to listen to another talking head? I know Melindy, I know you hate it, but I want to hear what the NPCs hear. Like it's always good to hear what the NPCs hear. That way we know how to counteract their airheaded fucking comments, right?
And I'm Kyle Clark. Tina Peters is staying put in a state prison in Colorado. The State Department of Corrections tells 9 News late tonight it does not plan to respond to the Trump administration's request to turn over Peters. President Trump has been demanding her release. Peters, the former Republican clerk in Mesa County and an ally of the president, is serving 9 years for a scheme that tampered with voting systems. Earlier this month, the Department of Justice asked to take custody of Peters from the state. Tonight, a Department of Corrections spokesperson told me the state believes that one of those transfer requests is only initiated by the state, not by the federal government. And as a result, the state doesn't plan to respond to the Fed's request to pull Peters out of prison here. Democratic Governor Jared Polis had not answered our questions about whether he was going to bow to pressure from the feds. Polis' silence on the issue angered the bipartisan group of elected county clerks who run Colorado's elections.
His silence is deafening, and it's also offensive. It's deeply offensive to county clerks. It's deeply offensive to the Republicans and Democrats who serve as election judges and actually implement these elections.
If you transfer Tina Peters to federal custody, you are making a statement that elected officials are above the law. This is a very dangerous precedent.
No.
Tonight, Democratic Senator Michael Bennett, who we should say is running for governor next year, weighed in saying that Colorado should not turn over Peters to the feds under any circumstances. Peters' allies have floated an increasingly extreme set of ideas on how to spring her from prison. This week, her attorney endorsed the idea of President Trump sending the military into Colorado to get her out.
And that's something that I'm not against, folks, because the fact that she is a political prisoner, right? I can't stress it enough. She's not charged with tampering. Exactly right. She's not charged with tampering. She's charged with felony impersonation and very strange counts. Soros funded harpy hares. Yeah, whores, hares. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know.
Are you guys ready for break?
What the?
Prairie
What am I
Hills
listening?
Elementary.
What am I listening
Discussions
to?
are
What do I
underway.
hear?
How's
What am I
lunch
hearing?
today?
What am I hearing?
School Security Liaison Justin
Okay.
Anderson gets to know.
I hate these news articles because they just pop up and they keep talking. So he's basically saying that the transfer has to be initiated by the state, not by the feds. That's one of the reasons why they're ignoring the request of removal. I still think the whole thing is a gigantic crock of shit, and the fact that Tina Peters and everything regarding Tina Peters, and I did this on Monday, but Jeff Hunt brings up a fantastic angle that needs to be addressed, right? So if we're going to talk about Jared Polis and his inability and his if Jared Polis is going to be silent on this whole Tina Peters issue and he's not going to interact with the current affairs that's happening right now in Colorado regarding one of the most contested election interference stories in modern history, if Jared Polis is going to be silent on this, here's some receipts for Jared Polis. Okay? Jared Polis has reduced or commuted sentences and of other criminals, of other felons, right? Jared Polis has commuted and paroled and reduced other convicted felons and convicted criminals' sentences, okay? Nathan Dunlap was the Chuck E. Cheese murderer, was initially sentenced to life in prison, okay? Wait, hold on. Am I reading this wrong? Hold on. So Nathan Dunlap was sentenced to life in prison. Rogel Aguilera Medeiros was commuted from 110 years to only 10 years. Okay, Travis Colvin 150 year. Let me can I actually talk? I guess I can't talk today. Travis Colvin was sentenced to 104. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready? It's been a day. Travis Colvin was sentenced to 154 years for sexual assault and attempted murder and is eligible for parole in 2028 as per Jared Polis. Tina Peters, Gold Star mom, grandmother, she gets solitary confinement in 9 years. Do you see the double standard? Okay. Fed should be done with being polite about it. No, that's where we're at, folks. That's where we're at. Tina Peters should be free. Jared Polis that lacks a spine. The whole apparatus, the whole government of Colorado is corrupt. It's ran by leftist, Soros-backed, funded, deep state operatives. Colorado is a breeding ground of corruption and collusion when it comes to the law, when it comes to the judicial system, when it comes to our election process. Every aspect of Colorado is so overtly corrupt, and yet they're going to give you empty platitudes and tell you that everything's fine, everything's okay. And Colorado is one of the best states to live, even though this is the state of affairs right now. It's absolutely sick. It's absolutely sickening. But they said, Melindy, where was it? They said the Fed should be done. Yeah. Well, Kyle Clark said, where was it? Kyle Clark said that the that's, dude, Stouffer, you gotta, you and I, we get it, we understand. I don't believe that Republican clerk is Republican. Notice the pink hair. That was my initial off the cuff thought. As soon as I saw her, I was like, she's got pink hair. She's not Republican. And folks, let me bring it up, because even if they are quote unquote Republicans on this bipartisan county clerk committee, okay? This is the bipartisan clerk letter that was sent out, right? So the bipartisan county clerk association, right? These Republican, and that's one of Clark's talking points. One of Clark's greatest talking points regarding the whole Tina Peters debacle is that this Colorado County Clerks Association is a bipartisan association between Republican county clerks and Democrat county clerks. Whereas, notice there's only a small list of actual county clerks here, and not all of them are going to be in cahoots together, right? So these county clerks, in my opinion, know that our system is rigged, know that our system is corrupted, know that they need to protect this system that they know. Or you know what? Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. I think I might be giving them too much credit, because I think that they just might be so ignorant, and they think they genuinely drink the Kool-Aid. They think that Jenna Griswold and everything she says about our gold standard and our 99.99% election integrity here in Colorado is infallible and it's God tier. They believe that shit. So they're going to say, oh, well, Tina Peters obviously is a enemy of our election process and she's evil. And so, we can't have her out because she's contesting our perfect system. That's what it really is, folks. I initially thought that they were just trying to cover their own and trying to collude together, whether they're Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. The fact that they know that the system's is played. But I honestly think they're probably just too stupid to realize what's really going on. Leftist gears or layers of... Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can only imagine. Just look into the National Association of Secretary of States. It's abhorrent. No. And that's the problem, folks, is that you get these evil, corrupted, globalist-minded individuals in positions of power, in positions that can legislate and enact various degrees of law and lawfare. Then you get a silenced public. You get a silenced, acquiescent public that knows none the wiser, because these people in control of the system use the system and then manipulate the system for their own benefit. That is what Jenna Griswold does. That is what Jared Polis does. That is what Phil Weiser's done as AG. And that's what they have continued to do. And that is how they've instituted this whole control structure here in Colorado. Completely corrupt, completely off the rails. Okay? Yeah, the Colorado County Clerks, I posted it here on my X. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is their official letter pleading to Governor Polis, don't let Tina Peters out because it undermines our election process and it lowers the faith of what county clerks' difficult jobs really are. Spare me. Spare me. Yep. Well, folks, we have been. How we feeling out there? Thumbs up in the chat. We're looking good. We're feeling good. But I think we are going to be wrapping up. Let me see if there's any more updates on this shooting. Just because I wanted to see if there's anything else to be live updates. Any new live updates from NBC? 15 minutes ago, West Virginia governor spoken with Trump. What we know about the shooting. Targeted attack. Yep. It's all pretty much the same stuff. 29-year-old man was the age of the suspect. Let's see. Nope. Nothing new. Prayers to those. Let me see if I can look up actual conditions. Let me refresh this here. Let me refresh it. Like why is that? Why does that have to be like that? I don't fucking know, dude. I just think it's hilarious. I'm glad I switched my camera over because for some reason the only thing that they're showing of the shooter is him laying naked on a stretcher, and I don't know why that is a thing. Like, why is that? You know. Yeah. Well, I think there's no new information on the medical condition. But my prayers do go out for them. My prayers go out for the National Guardsmen. My prayer goes out to Tina Peters, who is in prison unjustly and should be freed as soon as possible. I hope that there is actually some real movement that happens in regards to Tina Peters and her unjust prosecution. And I also hope that the National Guardsmen who were shot today make a speedy recovery and get to see their family as soon as they can. On the eve of Thanksgiving, on the eve of the holiday season, it's a terrible time to have such horrible news. I couldn't imagine getting news like that. Any sort of news, family members in condition. I mean, that's terrible to no matter what. But having this be so national news, international news, the fact that it happens in D.C., the fact that it's a targeted political terrorist attack, absolutely sickening. So I hope that justice moves swiftly and fluidly to make sure that payments come due as quickly as possible, because we can't live in a world like this. We can't keep. It's hard to keep optimism in a world so grim. You know what I mean? It's hard to stay. It's hard to stay up when we have to talk about things like this. And I want to make sure that everyone is healthy, and I want to make sure everyone is safe, and I want to make sure everyone is mentally healthy too. When we have conversations, we talk about these things, and moving into the holidays, moving into the darker times of the year, just spend this time and hopefully reach out to some family and friends and get together and enjoy those moments together with your family and your loved ones, and have conversations and play a board game, play some sort of, do an interaction that involves you and your loved ones, that you can actually make a memory, make a moment. And because those times are fleeting. And when we have to have conversations like this about the world and about the chaos and the impending doom around every corner every day, can be a little bleak sometimes, but just remember and just know that there are people that love you. There are friends that care about you. There is a world of good out there as long as you apply yourself and be a part of the good in the world. And that's what I hope everyone can be doing in times like these. And don't take me too mushy. I'm not getting all soft on you, but I am being real with you, you know, and especially on the eve of Thanksgiving, I just wanted to take a moment and just kind of reach out and say, hey, you know, times are tough, times are wild, times are really fucking weird, but we will be able to persist. We will persevere through this as we always do, as we always can, the best to our abilities. And that way, in my opinion, is staying in touch with your family, staying in touch with your loved ones, being involved in the immediate world around you, and fostering good in the world, because there's a lot of fucking evil out there, man. There's a lot of evil out there, and we have to combat evil with good. And I'll leave you with this: is the room, an entire room can be completely dark. An entire area around you, you couldn't see that hand in front of your own face. But as soon as the one light, as soon as a candle is lit, as soon as a light is emitted, one single light can change the entire darkness of the room, right? And this is kind of the mindset that I kind of want to move into the next year, holding on to and kind of fostering that energy and that ability, because I feel like there's so much darkness, there's so much evil, there's so much negativity in the world. We have to hold on to and nourish and nurture and kindle that flame and hold that fire close and let it burn bright in a world of darkness. Because that's what's going to keep us going. That is what's going to keep us going. That's what's going to keep us going for our family and for our children and for our children's children and for our future, because the world's going to continue being the evil and dualistic and nihilistic and hedonistic world that it is, the evil world that is presented all around us. But as long as you keep fostering good and nurturing that flame and tending your fire and tending the fire within your heart, and sharing that warmth and sharing that energy and sharing that love with those you care about in the world around you in your immediate vicinity, good will prevail. Good will prevail. And see, I really wish I pressed record during that monologue. I thought I had record going on the other side, but I didn't. It's fine. It's fine. Gandalf, what do you got to say to me?
Shall not pass!
Have a very happy Thanksgiving. We can still give thanks and be merry even with everything we're dealing with and battling. Yes, absolutely right, Stouffer. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone in the chat. Everyone, have a very happy Thanksgiving. Let's see if there's anyone we can raid right now if we're going live. If there's anyone else going live, Salty Cracker. Who else is live? Anyone else that I might know? Should I just go stream this? Should I just go raid the Salty Cracker? I don't see anyone else. Yeah, we can. Are we cool? Are we cool with raiding Salty Cracker? We'll go over to Salty Cracker, because he kind of does the same shit I do. We all kind of do the same shit, but you know what? We're gonna jump over to Salty Cracker. Is this? Oh, I can't put it there. Can't put it there. Shipwreck Show. What is Shipwreck Show? Is that on? That's on Rumble. Let's check it out. Oh, Badlands. Badlands is on right now. Let's go over to Badlands. Oh, is that oh, that is Shipwreck. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. We're gonna go over there. Let me get everything going. Let me just get all the gears in place because for some reason I can't raid through the Rumble. I can't raid through Rumble Studio, but we can raid through a Rumble window separately. So, folks, I love you. I appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, fight for freedom and never give up.